Shadowcoast here, and welcome to another Total War Warhammer 2 Legendary campaign. In this one, we're tackling the latest DLC content and taking on a Legendary Vortex Grom the Paunch campaign. And that's right, we will be playing as the King of the Trolls in this campaign. Now, I have played a few test campaigns. I've made it to turn 100. I have not actually completed a Legendary campaign. I do hope to post this playthrough in its entirety, and our goal will ultimately be to win. You can see it in the bottom right there. We're legendary and on very hard, which is the hardest battle setting. Now, I will be posting my journey. It is very possible if I make a critical mistake that the journey will end in defeat. On legendary, we can't load or save. I like that part on games like this just to give it a little extra difficulty so you can't save scum. That being said, we will be playing on the conservative side in hopes of making this a fruitful campaign for us to progress through. Now, I mentioned I played a few test campaigns. I really focused on the starting turns, and there are a few objectives that we want to complete here in the first, call it 20 turns or so. Objective 1 will be to secure Southworld's Edge Mountains. Objective 2 is to take out Orion's camp. These woodland elves have a lot of slowing poison, and you're going to see the playstyle I employ is heavily Grom related about movement, so them slowing us down is horrible, and they become very difficult to take out. So we're going to try to take them out early, and then our third objective for our starting campaign is to run down Imric, who will be a pain and could kite us around and actually sack or take some of our hard-earned progress. So that will be our objective. We're going to take on objectives 1 and 2 in this episode. So that's secure Southworld's Edge Mountains, as well as take out Orion's camp. Let's get to work off the bat. We're going to want to focus on our economy. One item I did notice here, if you guys are interested, is you can decide or keep re-rolling starting your campaign. One thing that is actually nice here is Mushroom Addicted. This trait actually reduces all goblin upkeep by 15%, which is helpful. Although I actually like this one, Cunning Ambush Success, plus 10% local armies. So we're definitely going to leverage that because we will be using ambushes to full effect. So off the bat, make sure you equip your Giant River Troll Hag. This is probably one of the best characters or hero units in the game, in my opinion. You get the replenishment. You can do casting or melee. You can auto-resolve this battle. If you want to fight it, feel free. You can also loot and occupy, but we're going to occupy, and that's really for the instability and public order, because we're going to be moving hard and fast, and we want to give ourselves as many turns as possible before we have to come back, if at all, to quash any uprisings in our home area. Okay, great. So, sometimes this is open, which is actually better. This case, we're going to demolish it. We'll take the gold, but we're going to be building a pile of shiny stuff. This is our main producer, except for Carrick Zorn, which actually has something that produces more gold on that level. So we're going to want to take that on. Blue Tree, this is legendary. We're going to have multiple stacks, so we're going to need Lightning Strike. And we're also going to want to get this Upkeep Mob Boss and Renowned and Feared so we can support more armies. Each military or each army or Lord we recruit is going to increase upkeep of every single unit in all armies by 15%, which is difficult. You have some decisions to make with your Giant River Troll Hag. I personally recommend going the casting tree off the bat. We're really going for the Purple Sun of Xerius. This is super useful against those heavily armored units that we're probably going to fight, specifically against the High Elves coming up here when we take on Imric as our third objective. So we're going to be prioritizing that tree. One item to note, and I did make this mistake because I forgot, When you're upgrading, remember that to get to this point, this is the tree you need to upgrade. So sticking another point in Spirit Leech is not going to help you get there. I recommend circling back. A lot of people tend to like to double upgrade Spirit Leech. It's actually a pretty good move and extremely cost efficient compared to some of these other ones, especially if you're targeting single units or enemy hero units. For recruitment, I do recommend that you jump in with a few Snotling pump wagons. These are extremely effective. They are a little bit slow, um, but they're extremely effective anti-infantry. And if you micro effectively, which I'm going to attempt to do, these will be devastating um, to the enemy army. All right, research. There's a lot of good orc or greenskin research now, a lot better. I recommend going Healy Mushroom. We're going to want casualty replenishment. We are the greenskins, so we effectively piss everyone off. So we're going to probably be fighting on two fronts at any given time. So getting replenishment and ensuring that we have a River Troll Hag in every single army is absolutely critical. So we're going to go for this. Go Fasta. Even if you don't want to get Healy Mushroom in your first 13 turns, you really need to get Go Fasta. The campaign movement range is absolutely critical, especially as we're trying to run down Imric. There are other awesome stuff like down here. The growth is nice, recruitment cost is nice. Eventually, we're going to want to get sharing is caring, but that's a pretty extensive tree. So I do recommend going Healy Mushroom first. After Healy Mushroom, we are going to move over here and get some of this stuff just to help our Goblin units. So we're not only going to be reducing upkeep costs, but more importantly, we're going to give them a little more attack missile strength because we are going to be using a bunch of these goblins as our mainline frontline units until fairly late in our campaign, just due to the fact that they're very cost efficient. 83 gold is literally nothing. I don't know if you can get that cheap, but once these guys are upgraded, they actually are pretty decent. I would say they're comparable to some of the high elf spearmen or even silverin units. So we will take a look at that later on. Grom's Cauldron, you can't cook even if you wanted to, and I don't recommend that you do. Hold off on that, and we will call this a first strong turn. There's not a lot to be said for
your best. Give the word. Make your petition.
diplomacy.
And leave
We
this
are
place.
playing the greenskins. It's not going to really get us anywhere, so don't worry about that. And so we're not gonna worry about it. So we'll get into Grom's Cauldron. I'll actually post a video later in this campaign to explain it because it's actually a little more confusing than it might look at first glance, but relatively straightforward. All right, this mission is absolutely critical. So when you start the turn with 50 scrap, you're going to get black tooth set in a jar. The key thing to remember here is that you need to equip this item. It is not auto-equipped, and that's because Grom does not have an arcane point. However, your River Troll Hag does. And we're going to want to get this mission as soon as possible. We basically have to build up Declare Wa and then successfully complete it to get Lucky Banner. Melee defense is huge. The magic item drop is huge, but most importantly, that ward save and the Lucky Banner movement of melee attack and damage resistant is absolutely critical because Grom will be kind of our main fighter unit and disrupt the enemy in his chariot. Here's the deal. We're gonna move to the edge. The way Confederation now works is pretty simple. Obviously, if you have good enough relations and they're on a back foot, you could then choose to confederate with other fellow greenskins. The other way to do it is defeat their main lord. By defeating their main lord in combat, you will then have the option to confederate. So in this battle coming up here, it'll be critical that we I'm actually rethinking this. We're gonna go range. So in this next battle, and he should sally forth and try to attack us, especially because we're recruiting here. In this next battle or upcoming battle, we're gonna want to win, but we don't want to win too well. Because if we win too well and kill all of Grievous' army here, when we confederate, we're not going to have it. So you definitely want to fight this. Definitely fight it. Now I'm going to show you some general approaches. So there's one unit here that we do not want to kill completely, and that is the River Trolls. So as long as you have a few units left, that's fine. They're trolls. They have relatively poor leadership. So we just kind of want to hit them, and then as they're running away, let them go and not take them out. Alright, so everyone has their own flavor and their own approach. I personally do like grouping my units just so I can grab these easier. So we're going to put Grom up front. We're going to have our River Troll Hag kind of come in to assist. Now here's a good, interesting thing. The Goblins are a decent unit, especially once we get upgrades. I recommend square formations. Give them a little more oomph, and then one of the things we're going to want to do too is just make sure we're kind of blocking and keeping them in place to make sure that we don't break, right? So I recommend square formations. If you have a better formation, let me know. These guys we're just going to kind of line up here. One item I will say is they do have spiderlings, and spiderlings tend to like to hug the edges and try to take out your archers. So make sure that you just kind of clog the lanes and don't let them get through. We're going to put our trolls here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to hold these Snotling pump wagons in reserve a little bit, and then if a lane opens up, we're going to shoot them through. Let's gamble here. Yeah, 40. Alright, I'm not sure anything happened there. Alright, so let's get to work. Again, we want to win, but we don't want to win too well. Now, Grom has an insane amount of regeneration, 4,000, which is almost his full health bar. He has decent leadership. He's got good charge, great weapon strength. So here's the deal. He is an anti-infantry, he is armored, and he has this insane amount of regeneration. So we want to keep him out of fire. We want him to be taking on infantry. That being said, we are going to try to slow down the river trolls. So let's get in here. And we don't want to kill him.
Grom's fighting! Grom on the move!
So we are going to move now that the missiles are coming in.
Grom don't fail!
And we're just going to try to keep their range at bay. And it doesn't seem like we're weakening their resolve. Yeah, they're gonna recover it. So we're gonna, yeah, pull these guys off. And the spiderlings we don't care about. That's like literally the last thing we care about. Good. These guys, I want them to sit there. Alright, so they're in range. So open up. So we're going to bring Grom back just to get some rear charges. Yeah, let's not let them get through. And we are going to run through. Now, Snotling pump wagons tend to get stuck. And we're going to get our River Troll Hag involved. It's decent melee. Let's target Grievous. And alright, the spiderlings are breaking Snotling pump wagons. Ooh, it did get congested. Let's try to pull them through, push through. And we are going to, yeah, hit these guys. gonna pull our and snotling pump wagons. We want to pull through, push through, push through, and we're gonna focus on our wall ability. We're gonna keep hitting. We're gonna throw up on these guys, and we're gonna bring you guys in. Getting a nice rear charge from Grom. Snotling pump wagons, you're almost through. And for good reason, because we want you to keep these guys at bay. Come on, make your way through. Alright, each one of you guys are going to take out our range.
This one's for more.
And gonna take on Grievous. And we don't want to kill any of the units. We just want them to break. And Grom, get out of here. Alright, so these guys are broken. And we just need them to break. We're gonna bring you out here. Selling pump wagons. Again, I don't want to. You just want to break. Ooh, that was not well positioned. Alright, come on, break, break. Gee, we're inflicting a ton of damage.
Chariot's on its way.
Let's bring you up.
Looking for a scrap.
And alright, so the challenge here is please don't kill them. We aren't legendary. Alright, so let's switch targets. Switch targets. Ooh, these guys are not doing well. Okay. Gee. Alright. We're doing a lot more damage than I would have liked. Like I said, this can be a difficult. Alright. They're done. They're done. There we go. Get back. Get back. Oof. Alright. Alright. They're gonna need a minute to heal. Again, we didn't lose that many. Some trolls, a few snotling wagons, not a big deal. We'll heal up. We have our river troll hag replenishment going. The objective there again is to. We actually didn't kill any units, so that worked. But we laid into these guys a lot more than I would have liked. They are a better unit. At least early game before we get some technology upgrades. Take the money. You really need the money. Like I said, we're going to confederate, and as you can imagine, our treasury is going to get hit. So I said this is critical. Do not forget to equip your Blacktooth's head in a jar. So we're going to form the confederation. All our money's gone, and the first thing, we did get a new ingredient. The first thing we're going to do before we forget is go here and go here. He doesn't have an arcane item. Our River Troll Hag does. Equip this, because this gives us our ability to summon a rogue idol, which is super critical, especially in upcoming fights, just because it helps with survivability, and it also is critical to ensure that the rogue idol, which we can summon every battle, takes damage, reducing our casualties. Go with Soul Blight. It's up to you. I do like Life Leeching, which I would get. We're taking on the dwarves, which do have higher armor, so this will help us in the upcoming battles. For Grom, I'm going to get Death from Below. So evasion chance when using Underway, just to make sure we can escape if things go pear-shaped. Some people like Spiderlings. They're a decent unit to disrupt enemy archers, and then when we upgrade this to level 3, they're actually, you could argue you could use them. For their cost though, 113 upkeep, that is eventually reduced. Or is it reduced? No, it's not reduced. I don't really like them. They're expendable, they're weak. If you misposition them, they'll be taken out, and most archers that they would be disrupting can take them in melee combat. Um, either way, we're gonna need to work on our economy, so pile of shiny stuff. Immediately, we're gonna get rid of Thogart. If you like him better, go for it. And we're going to stick you in here. We're gonna consolidate. I want to actually keep these guys separate because we're not gonna have orc boys. They are shielded, and when we look at them, they just have better melee attack. They actually, they're not as good as I thought they were. They have better leadership. It gives us variety. Spiderlings, I'm not hot on Spiderlings, so we're gonna just work on our economy a little bit. And we're gonna head down here as far as possible. During this turn, if we're going for perfect turn, make sure you cook. You have only 2 items, so you can only cook 1 dish, which is actually a pretty good dish. That charge bonus is nice. Here's Grom's Cauldron in 30 seconds. Effectively, you cook different dishes, and depending on the colors you combine, so we're combining orange and red, you're going to get this duration for mainly focus on Grom abilities. So any orange or red is going to yield this effect, and then each ingredient has passive effects you can see down here, right? So you're going to get these passive effects, which tend to be more campaign or army focused, which is nice. You can unlock additional slots through talking to the food merchant that we're going to see here in a little bit. Now here's the one caveat. There are secret recipes where if you add a 3rd ingredient, you're going to get a secret special extra something, right? So, well, almost always any combination of these colors are going to yield the same thing over and over again. The one exception will be these special recipes that will unlock through quests. So that took a little more than 30 seconds, but on a high level, that's what's going on. So we're going to cook, and that's because we're going to want to trigger the Hag Merchant and get the money from the 2 quests that it triggers. So those quests to unlock the special recipes will come later on. Oh, here's another thing that I forgot to mention. How do you get ingredients? Look at these. Each of them have an unlock condition. So let's take a look at Sundial. Sack a dwarf settlement. Well, we're taking the fight to the dwarves. We're going to want to be sure to sack their settlement first before we occupy it. Alright, so I like to have a decent front line. We are going to give the river troll hags to Grom. We're in position. We are going to unlock Go Faster next, which is going to be fantastic. We are not going to upgrade because our economy is suffering. So we will call this a turn. Now here's the deal. If you are in a rush, you could hypothetically attack Carrick Zorn right now. I actually don't recommend that you do that. We're going to come here. give you the trolls.
Better than anyone.
Then we're going to come here. We have.
Get out of sight.
So what was that? Oh, we're gonna come over here, right on top of Grom.
Let's get moving.
Can you? Yes, you can raid, so we're offsetting our cost. This is critical. They're not gonna come out and attack us unless we're at war. So we're gonna declare war. Here's the deal. I think we have, I didn't see it, I think we should have had an 80% chance of success with the ambush. So we are pissing them off, so they should come out. You can choose which one to upgrade. I'm going to upgrade Mount Arachnos first. Basically, Karagoric and Mount Arachnos, we want level 3, and we're going to want to build walls ASAP. We're not going to get walls before we start fighting Imric, but we're going to want to get them as soon as possible. You have Res, who's our mortal enemy, does sometimes send stacks down to take us out. So we're going to want to make sure that our main area is as heavily defended as possible to make sure that we have an economic base as well as a consistent area to recruit key units for success. Alright, we're in good shape. We've declared war. We have an ambush going. I'm pretty sure we should have 80%, and normally it'll be 70%, but we have 80% because, or we should have 80% because we have cunning, ambush success plus 10% local armies. So let's see what happens. Hopefully they come and try to take Rebits. And they do. Our ambush is successful, and it's not worth our time to fight this, although it did cheese us a little bit. Take the money, because we need the money. And here's the deal. The Hag Merchant. Hag Merchant. Carrig or Rude. Ah, boo. That is super far away. So we're not going to do the Hag Merchant here because we need to push forward as soon as possible so they don't militarize up. We're going to get Route Marcher, critical, Blue Tree, critical, especially on Legendary. We're going to finish off Death from Below, then we'll probably grab Sacking and then move on our way up. Here is one critical exception in building the Blue Tree. After we get Lightning Strike, we are going to get Down to Size and Goblin Tide. Look at this. Plus 15 armor for Goblin units, plus 6 for Goblin units melee attack. This is critical. This is also critical. Bonus First Large, plus 10 for Goblin units, melee attack plus 6 for Goblin units. Depending on the situation, we might prioritize Down to Size because we're going to want this when we take on Imric because he has a starting dragon that can be kind of a pain in the butt. We're going to take on Life Leeching just for power recharge rate. Let's
Gobbo King!
There we go. Just trying to
This is my land. I like it.
Alright, so normally you can take this fight with just
They're dead meat. Grom always wins.
with just Grom. Here's the deal, on this fight, it kind of sucks, because even if you have Rebits with you, so normally the Hag Merchant can appear in different areas. If it appeared in like Lost Plateau or even Mount Arachnos, we would have probably brought Rebits back to get them. In this case, we're not going to, because we're going to want Rebits to help us with Orion's camp as quickly as possible. On this fight, even if you have both,
Grom the Slayer.
it's just they're gonna.
Another day, another triumph.
I'm balancing speed because if we auto resolve, no, we're gonna fight it. Fight this battle. If you auto resolve. The concern here is that our Goblin units are just going to take a lot of damage across the board. And while we have decent replenishment, we haven't supercharged our replenishment until we get Healy Mushroom and we start putting points in replenishment on our River Troll Hag. So effectively, if our center line is injured and we have to wait even an extra turn or two, that will make the fight against Orion that much more difficult. We're going to start deployment. This this lineup for the map, most sieges and depending on towns have pros and cons. This one has kind of a what I like to think about as a relatively easy hack. So I will show you that.
Goblins!
And we have trolls.
What you want?
So you guys move forward. Alright, so Grievous, you come up here. So here's the deal. If you just send all your archers here, they can nicely take enemies out. So we're just going to try to have Grievous come over here. Nope. I didn't micro him well at all.
Off to conquer! This is it!
Look at how big the River Troll Hag is. Oh, don't hit. Nope. Oh, no, sorry. I don't want to get in your way. Now, you can decide to send people onto the wall or not. We are going to.
The lads are ready! Goblins!
And we're going to want to send Grom through. We're going to buff. So, come through. We're not going to drop the...
Bring me coming on! Nothing!
Oop.
Running!
They will eventually...
Stop them! The lads are ready! Ready!
We actually took more damage than we would have liked.
Row!
Nope. Keep breaking that down. Why can't we? 96%.
Go!
So we're gonna roll them over.
This is gonna get messy. Go!
And I would love to show you guys.
All in one! Breaking this! Gotta kill him! On it!
They
Goblins! Moving fast!
we're gonna bring our archers inside.
Aim everything! Shifting it! We'll get him!
Grievous, get over there.
Scanners ready! No, stop it!
Gonna bring you guys back here. And
The biggest war boss!
alright, I wanted to use my Rogue Idol. The challenge of the Rogue Idol is that it does AoE damage, so if we were to deploy a Rogue Idol, we probably would have actually just hurt ourselves more than anything. And these guys took a beating.
No one's fatter!
So
Grom the Paunch!
I want to drop the rogue idol. It just we need a space to do it effectively. All right, we're gonna just speed up time. I don't really see a good angle or spot to drop this. We can't drop the rogue idol on the wall. This should be done pretty shortly. We're actually going to bring our goblins down here. Get off the wall. Drop that on them. Drop some extra pain. And this should be over as soon as these guys break. And they're broken. And we bugged. Or maybe they have, oh, they just have a little bit of leadership left. Incredibly stubborn dwarves. That should do it. There we go. Alright, well, if we auto-resolved it, I think we probably would have taken more damage as you normally do in these scenarios, so still the right decision to fight it. So as we called out, we need to sack the town to get Stuntiel. I recommend doing it. It's worth, you know, you're not going to encounter dwarves. I guess it depends on how you play the campaign, but the probability is actually relatively low. So we're gonna sack. We got Stuntiel. And occupy. So that actually helped a lot because we have a bigger treasury. And when we think about it, we are repairing 512. We're gonna eliminate that thing. At Carrickzorn, we're gonna get Cave of Shinies 500. That's going to go a very long way to right-sizing our economy. So Carrickzorn is now our de facto capital. You can kind of combine these guys. We're gonna bring Grievous here. And we're going to combine, grab one, and well, can we
big as an orc. Where's the
yeah, there's really no benefit to bringing him out. Alright, so up to you. I recommend Doom and Darkness just to take out their higher tiered units and force them to break.
Faster than anyone.
We're gonna keep him inside. We're gonna grab, we have 6 archers, which is pretty good. We want a decent front line, so we're gonna grab some more goblin infantry. I recommend growth and obedience. This is our main area. We want to build it up as soon as possible. Alright, so the challenge I have with Heap of Shiny stuff is twofold. One, we're increasing this by 100 gold, which is nice to offset costs, but it takes 13 turns to pay for itself, and this area will be undefended against Emmerich if he comes over here once we declare war, which he very well might. So we're going to hold off upgrading this. The reason we're upgrading Mount Arachnos is twofold. One, we want to build Boss's Tent. Excuse me. There are two reasons why we're upgrading it. Or there's one reason to upgrade it, two reasons for the Boss's Tent we're going to build there. So we're going to upgrade it so we can build a Boss's Tent. And the two reasons we want to build a Boss's Tent is one for obedience, so controlling public order, but second and more importantly, we want to recruit a Goblin Big Boss. This unit is absolutely critical to blocking armies and slowing down the enemy. So if we're going to run down Imric, we're going to need a big goblin boss. We will hit the hag merchant before we search the Spring of Eternal Life. We actually have a... Well, we'll be issued a mission here shortly that'll tell us to do it.
Warlord!
So we're going to end the turn. So we completed Objective 1, secure the province, relatively easy. This next piece is a little more challenging. So we get the gold, which we need. We're good for a little less than 8 turns.
Niblet's been badgering.
Alright, so now we want to search a ruined settlement. Mount Arachnos is coming along. We are going to upgrade Carrickzorn, that's our de facto capital. Cave of Shiny stuff's going to go a long way. Here's the deal, we're probably going to want to also build a pile of shiny stuff here. You could make an argument for another boss's tent, but we're really trying to right-size our economy. Alright, so we're going to come to about 44%. Ambush success chance is 50%.
Conqueror!
So we got a 50-50 shot. Same tactic. We're going to stand on top of Grom. We're going to offset by rating. So there is a bug that I noticed and I think it's really when we're going against Kasabar, where rating actually works against you. In this case, it works correctly. They might have fixed that bug. That was a week ago, and I didn't really notice it after a while, so I think it went away, or they fixed it. And same deal, we have to declare war on them. So they sally forth. Now you don't want to get too close, because if they lose, they're just going to retreat, and then the next fight to sack there is harder. We will eventually be raising Orion's camp, but effectively we're going to kind of farm it out as a sack city, and we're also going to look to build Wa, so we can issue a Wa against Imric. So we can build a boss's tent here shortly, which we're going to do as soon as possible. Alright, let's see if they come out. Ambush successful. We're going to auto-resolve. They're going to cheese us a little bit here, but that's okay. We're going to take the money because we need it. Gave us a turn. Alright, so one thing that you always want to do is... Ooh, I really want down to size. We're gonna grab it. Normally I like to grab it after Lightning Strike, but you're gonna see why here shortly.
Grom's Paunch itches. Whole world's gonna be Grom's.
Alright, so we're gonna save by combining a few units. We really only need 3 Snotling pump wagons. I do like 4, but it's not the end of the world. We're gonna grab leadership and causes terror, which is nice in general.
Now's the time.
You are gonna continue to level up.
Orc Slayer.
We're gonna come forward.
Whoever's there is dead.
There we go.
Under Grom's wheels.
So this treeman is an
We'll have a
absolute
day.
beast and a pain in the butt. And while we're at it, like I said, we're gonna build a boss's tent. It takes 2 turns. Let's bring you over here to support.
To pieces.
You need to fight this again. I mean, I recommend fighting this. We're gonna auto resolve. I've never had these odds. It's always been a little bit more, so I've always fought it. But effectively, we're gonna auto resolve just to science it because I haven't done it, and I'm kind of curious to see how much damage we take. Here's the deal: if you fight this fight, the easiest way to do it is you take Grom and you have him ride around, and you have the Deepwood Scouts and the Glade Guard waste their ammo. So you literally just run them around, change direction, and along with the Glade Riders who are super obnoxious. Once they've exhausted their ammo on Grom, and you can dodge about probably 50 to 60% of their shots, then you just regenerate the rest. Once they're out of their ammo, you move forward with your army. We have down to size, which will help, but effectively you have your archers focus fire the treeman, and then you keep hitting him with armor reduction because he has a lot of armor, as well as the leadership reduction until he breaks, and then you can easily burn him down. So we're going to do this, and yes, indeed, we would have lost a lot fewer than 515. Not the end of the world. We're going to sack, like I said. We are sitting a lot better.
Goblin King.
We're going to grab Ravager, which we should have grabbed first, now that I'm thinking about it, but we didn't. We're going to put you in this mode. We're going to keep putting you in this mode. We're going to sack it again. Then we're going to raise it the 3rd time, and then we're going to head back. We will heal. And as I'm thinking about this, this is a risk if we upgrade it. But we're going to start upgrading it. The reason it's a risk is that Imric could very well come around the back. So we're going to sack, then raise, and that should give us enough to declare a war against Imric. And that'll also give us time to get our Goblin Big Boss to hit the food merchant. We could take the money. Corruption isn't a big deal right now, but I don't want to risk it.
Gobbo King!
Evasion. So close. We're going to want Purple Sun.
Divine Benny!
Alright, now we can definitely auto-resolve. Oof, we still take a decent amount.
Grom, claim this land!
Win 3 battles. So we get the money. Enable a giant river trolling into the... So we should get that. Move a character to Xandri, which I think is up there. Well, I know it's up there. Alright, so we're gonna upgrade Lost Plateau and take a second here. Order of the Tricksters. So hold on, where's Grom? Alright. You're good, you're good. We got this by both. So, 3 bits, why not? We want you to have everything in order. So we actually might grab Lightning Strike before, which would be fantastic. Don't forget to go raiding.
The Goblin King never
Raiding,
loses.
so we're gonna heal a little bit. Next turn, Goblin Big Boss. We'll put him to work. And we are gonna go Public Order and Carrickzord. Normally I like pile of shiny stuff, but the goal will be to just right-size Public Order so we don't have to worry about it. Alright, this should do it. Alright, now researching Healy Mushroom. Oops, not what I wanted to click. No infighting, attrition is nice, and income from post-loot is nice too. So that's a really nice tree there. What did I say? Boom. Public Order. We're gonna want Boss's Camp to unlock another Goblin Big Boss ASAP. We're gonna upgrade this. We have the money, and it'll help us with income. We are going to actually recruit over here, and this guy is gonna be a map focused hero. Like, we're not gonna put him in leadership aura size, leadership +5. Characters aura leadership effect. So tactician's a little better, but again, map awareness.
Yeah, you're the boss.
So he will move here on the way through. If we had recruited him in Mount Arachnos, he would have had a hit here and then go there. Oh no! Oh no, Emmerich's there. Uh-oh. Alright, well, here's the deal.
Faster than anyone. This is
We're gonna start moving toward Emmerich.
Back it off. Lovely supper time first, boy.
And oh snap! It didn't give it to us. We're still short.
Time
boy.
for a snack.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy!
The boys are
You're gonna go back here and heal.
Big as an old.
And you're gonna get the purple sun, which is huge.
The Goblin King.
Yeah, you heal here. Okay, so this is super critical. We have Sunty Ale, Troll Meat, and Green Spores. So when you go to the Hag Merchant, or Food Merchant...
I serve.
Oop, not yet. Next turn. So we're gonna declare a war against Emmerich, but the challenge is he could backdoor us. So let's see if we can get line of sight before we declare it. Obedience plus.
Let's get stabby.
Alright. So we could take a cooking challenge, and if we get it right, it unlocks. Hard shell crab we definitely do not have, so you can buy ingredients. Sometimes it'll sell you ingredients you already have. So this earns 10 scrap, and it reduces, it's actually really nice, because it reduces the cost to cook each time. So we're going to be focusing on unlocking other slots, so we can maybe throw that in there to reduce the cost. And then physical resistance 12% for goblin and night goblin infantry units, which is nice. So let's just see what we get here. We can cause terror. Casualty replenishments. Ooh. And we still get casualty replenishments. Yes.
If it don't make
We're gonna
Grom
cook
sick,
that.
it ain't worked.
Alright, I'm off.
And
Gonna be quick.
are...
On it.
We can't declare a wall yet.
Warlord Eternal.
So with the cooking, we're gonna take the fight over there. I'm gonna get boom 2, 5. Yeah, we're gonna just kind of replenish this a little bit, and we'll start building you up. Pile of shiny stuff. All right, so we're going to take the fight to Imric now. We're going to call this an episode. This is legendary, so we want to end episodes on the end of the turn because I can't save it anyway. So thanks so much for watching. In the next episode, we will be focusing on taking out Imric, and as you can see here, we can now declare a Wa, which we will do. So if you like what you see, please subscribe. Please throw me a thumbs up. Your support keeps me going. And please comment. How could I have started this campaign better? Always happy to learn. I love Total War. I love Total War Warhammer specifically, so I play a lot of this and always open to suggestions. And we will see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Shadowcoast out.